All right, here it is. Wow, my light just popped off as soon as I was. Here, let me click it out. Hold on one sec. There it goes. All I had to do was move. All right, and now I'm in slow mo. Okay, it is Hello Again Wednesday, episode number 112. Thank you for following me. Thank you for being my special guest late this evening. And so if you're joining me late this evening, thank you for watching it live, or whenever you decide to take the opportunity to watch this episode of Hello Again Wednesday. You can watch it here on Facebook, or you can watch it on my YouTube channel, which is Brent Miller, What's on His Mind, or you can even see it. I bounce it over to the church website, which is culvercitychurchofgod.org. And I have I have my Hello Again Wednesdays on there on some of the things that I do. And so you can always check it out. I always encourage you to, as my special guest, I encourage you to share these videos and get involved in the conversations. We are getting more and more comments. Go and watch the other ones. We're getting more and more comments on the episodes and the question of the day that I usually ask. And it's turning out pretty good. I am really enjoying the conversation. And so, as you can see, I'm out in my backyard again. It's not as cold as what it's been in the past. And so, I'm kind of like enjoying it just a little bit. I am kind of working with this new, you can see IV cam up there, trying to work with a different kind of camera. And I'm going to have to, seems to be lagging just a little. I'll look into it a little bit more and check that stuff out. One of the things before I really get into the question of the day is I'm always talking about some of the things that Connie's making and that I enjoy and stuff like that. You know what? Today I have one. I came home from doing some work at the church and stuff and finance and stuff like that. And when I got back, I'm sitting in the easy chair and I got a heating pad and stuff, and I can hear her doing something. I go, what are you doing? And I'm making something. She made, it is, what is, this is a chocolate chip, big old chocolate chips in there, chocolate chip cookie with walnuts and pistachios in it. And it is, it's an awesome cookie. So you're just gonna have to bear with me chewing on one of these for this episode. But anyways, here's what, man, it is just really, really good. It's addicting too. You almost have to shut the lid and put it away. Question of the day. And you'll understand more of it in a little bit as I have this conversation. Have you ever had a prayer answered? Do you believe or not believe in saying a prayer? Now, I ask these questions in such a way because, you know what? Well, first of all, I hope you guys are having a great week. Here it is Wednesday, and it's clicking on, and there's things that have happened early on in the week, last week, and some things that have just been happening that, in my opinion, urges you to have prayer, at least for us. And things are going okay. I mean, I say this, I believe there's always, let me say it this way, a silver lining. And with the silver lining, it's a good thing, I also look at it in the sense of an answered prayer. But anyways, as I was saying, some believe it, some don't believe it. And what kind of got me going is a couple of things. And if you watch my episodes, you know that, man, my mind is always racing, always going a mile a minute, maybe a million miles a minute. And I got off track sometimes, and then I come back in and zero in. And I'm getting ready to have everything done on Sunday morning. And my Sunday mornings are very long and stuff like that as I prepare some other things. And our associate pastor, Pastor Mark, he goes, Pastor, what are you going to preach on next week? And I go, well, prayer. And really thinking about this thing about prayer. And then later on in the week, I came across something where it was an article, and I didn't read the article. I just read the headline, and I probably should have read the article, but I didn't. But it did catch my eye, and it said the article was a federal judge, and I'm not sure which state, a federal judge, or a federal judge in such and such state, ruled against public prayer. And I'm like, man, you ruled against public prayer. Is prayer that devastating that you would have to condemn a person to not speak out in public? And I know the word public is probably what gets everything going. And you know what, time and time again, this argument, it is an argument. It always comes up, and it really shouldn't, but it does, because I think, first of all, prayer is very personal a lot of times, or with reason. And then there's other times where you have this understanding that some of the reasons that people, want to have a judgment against public prayer is it's got to come down to almost two things. I know there's so many variables, but it comes down to either you believe there's God, and I know some don't, and I know that some pray or even ask others to pray for them, and then there's others that don't. Some don't at all. And it just I just began to contemplate on some of it. And maybe it's because of some of the things I'm personally going through. I really don't hardly ever ask anyone to pray for me. My fault. I understand that. It's probably one of my flaws. And some of you are probably condemning me already. Hey, you preach about prayer or whatever. Talk to other people about prayer, yet you don't ask. Yeah. Hey, we all have our flaws. Okay. And so, but guess what? I asked for prayer last Sunday because, like I said, if you followed my episodes in 2021, I had double back surgery, upper and lower, and lower's the worst. And it just I started exercising and doing some things in the healing process, did my physical therapy and stuff, and then it started getting, I felt a big old knot in the bottom of my back, and I worry about it and think about it, and then it just began to get worse and worse to where my right side it gets numb. And when I say worse, it's like this, 2 years ago, I thought my hips were going to blow off. Now I'm flashing back to all the questions the neurosurgeon would always ask me, explain this, or my physical therapist ask, explain the pain. And it's hard to explain pain, and I mean, they have these little checkoff things. And now I understand why they have the checkoff things. It is pins and needle. It is tingling. It is numbness. It's a burning sensation. And it's all of that. And you know what? For me, it's now as if I'm walking with a complete Charlie horse in my leg. And I can touch my calf, and I can feel me touching my calf. I barely feel my fingers touching. And it's just very, very painful again. And so today I did 2 MRIs, one with that, I'll say it this way, one without the juice and one with the juice. And you know what? When you're in that little tube for 2 sessions, it's long sessions, it's pretty freaky. And so that was my day of going through pain with that. Now, that's probably what gets me to, like I said, on Sunday, I asked people to pray for me. I believe in prayer, And if you watch the headline of the opening episode here, it was Believe It or Not. Some do and some don't, like I was saying. I'm going to start asking a bunch of questions because, like I said, this is a deep subject, and I look forward to comments about, your thought process. Pray or not pray? Yes or no? Yes, I've had answered prayer. No, I've never had my prayers answered. I want to see it in the comments. As I'm going through my thoughts with it, I'm all over the place. Ready? Does prayer bring hope? Some believe it is a false hope. See, when I'm talking about argument is the wrong word, but when you have the headbutting of prayer or no prayer, pray or don't pray, I believe in prayer, I don't believe in prayer, you will have people say you have this false hope. And I wonder about, I believe that prayer is hope. And I would rather have a small prayer or, a small hope in prayer than to not have any hope at all. These questions, I believe, could go on and on with both sides wanting to win the argument, especially when I was talking about the federal judge saying no praying in public. And now you'll hear the other people saying, hey, that's why with prayer out of school, that's our downfall of the beginning of the spiral of it and all this stuff. These are the arguments that they have. Everyone wants to have a winning side of the argument. I find it sad that we think we need to argue about prayer. Here's the thing. People that believe in prayer are praying that they will have their prayers answered in such a way that judges will be godly, have a good moral, stuff like that. Make the right decision in such a way that benefits all people, and not where you would infringe upon someone. But you know what? When you talk about prayer, I always say it's a listening thing. I will hear, I pray for a lot of people in the church, pray for a lot of people that I know outside of the church, and family and friends. The thing with me with Facebook, I see certain things and I pray for the things that are happening in the lives of individuals. I have old friends that have had devastation come in their life, and sometimes they're high up and sometimes they're at the lowest lows. And so I pray for them. They don't even know. Hey, puppy. They don't even know I'm praying for them. But you know what? It's not about that. It is about, I believe God will, allow an intervention to be better for the ones that I'm praying for. Nothing magic about it. I just do it. I have this faith in it, and I just do it. And I don't want to keep on going longer than a whole bunch, because like I said, man, I could just rattle on about, man, I've seen where God has answered prayer. I believe God has answered prayer. Some will say circumstantial, coincidental. And, whatever you know what? Coincidental has, in my opinion, has nothing to do with it. God planned the piece, and it came out that way. There's times where I've had prayers not answered, and I've had to walk through it. And I think some of those are where you find your closest walks with God. Man, all I can do is walk. It's hard to explain, but I'd love to keep talking about it. Okay. Why do I have such a faith and such a belief in prayer at all levels? I'm just going to, if you would bear with me for just a moment, I'm just going to read two scriptures. It's funny because I was in the sermon I did on Sunday. I say this all the time. Hollywood takes scripture and uses it. And man, I don't even remember what it was, but they had used scripture. And Hollywood does it all the time. And oh, there goes my light. And so please bear with me on these two scriptures. This is what helps me out. And the book of Psalms, I love David. David would pray when he was angry. David would pray when he was beaten down. David would pray when he was scared. David would pray when he was hurt. David would pray when he did bad things. And so there's so much that in the writings of David. In the book of Psalms, it says this at chapter 17, verse 6, I am praying to you, meaning to God, I am praying to you because I know you will answer, O God. Bend down and listen as I pray. That is so cool. Psalm 120, verse 1. And I'm going to give, with this one, I have like 3 different versions. Same verse, said a different way. I took my troubles to the Lord. I cried out to him, and he answered my prayer. This is David writing. When I'm in trouble, I pray. I like that one. Short, sweet. I told people last week, you know what? Sometimes it just needs to be short and sweet. You don't need all of this stuff, but sometimes you need to make it nice and small. Then there's other times, and we talked about this tonight, where there are people that when they pray, it is like we call it a powerful prayer. Why? It's moving. It draws you to a point. So, but for me, when I'm in trouble, I pray. The other way it says it is, I was in trouble. I called to the Lord for help, and he answered me. You'll find that where David writes a lot of times, he answered me. He answered me. He answered me. And sometimes, if you want to, like I said, this is my last little shoot off. David would pray that his enemies would be messed up. And then he'd thank God, hey, you answered my prayer. And so today, with the question, have you ever had a prayer answered? Do you believe or not believe in saying a prayer? Tell me your stories. How do you say grace? Do you say grace? Do you not say grace? Do you say grace for all meals? How do you pray for your loved ones? How do you not pray? If you really are, your belief is, I do not believe in God. I do not believe in prayer. Write that in the comment, not for argument's sake. Let's just have conversation. That's what this has always ever been about. So here it is. I'm closing out this Wednesday. It is late. It is, you want a silver lining? I didn't pray for it, but a silver lining. It's not as cold as what it has been. And as you can see, I'm outside, and I can see my breath right now as it's getting closer to 10 o'clock Pacific time. But I didn't need a jacket. We had Bible study at 5:30 today, and it was a great one. It was talking about the temple that Solomon built, and one of the Cindy had found a video, and it showed a presentation of how Solomon designed this was it Solomon? Yeah, Solomon had created this tent as he was building the temple. And so it was really cool to see how that was in our Wednesday Bible study that we had. It also reminded me that in our Bible study, what was it? It was, bear with me just a sec, it was about the tabernacle. Oh, you know what? When King Solomon built the tabernacle, actually built the tabernacle, went from the tents to a building. And when he built the building, it took so many years, and it took so many years to build it, and so many years to build his houses because he was rich. But if you read the scriptures, he built the temple first and then his stuff. And so he really put God as a priority. And so when the temple was finished, he actually had a very long prayer. And we read that in Bible study today on prayer, and how he had nailed every every avenue, every section that needed to be prayed for. It was really cool. Anyways, hey, I encourage you, why don't you join us on our Bible study? I do have a Zoom link. If you ever want it, let me know. I'll get you that Zoom link and you can join right in. We have people from all across the nation that are joining in on that Bible study, and I encourage you. Or if you are out here on the West Coast at Culver City, or deep farthest tip west of Los Angeles, come on out to Culver City Church of God, and downstairs is where we have our Bible study in the fellowship area, and you are more than welcome to join me and others for that. If you cannot, or the other thing is, I invite you to a Sunday service. 10:45. We're on Facebook. We're on the website, culvercitychurchofgod.org. And you can join us that way, or come on out to church. If you can't make it to church with us, find a Bible-believing, Bible-teaching church near you and join and check it out. Okay? I know that they will be sharing some reasons to pray, maybe to pray for you, pray with you. Why don't you go and find out and pray this Sunday or whenever the services are that you can attend to, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever. Check out a church near you. Hey, make sure you leave those comments and share. Thank you for watching here on Facebook. Thank you for watching on my YouTube channel, Brent Miller, What's on His Mind, or any other avenues. I'm on Rumble too, any other avenues that you can. But I want to thank you most of all for being my special guest of the day. I hope you have, out here on the West Coast, a great remainder 2 hours of your Wednesday and a great week ahead of you. Remember to give somebody a huge hello again. Maybe a hug, maybe a hello again handshake, whatever. Give them a huge hello again. And as always, I look forward to, I got to get down to it, to seeing you next Wednesday on Hello Again Wednesday.